Come on. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Radio Oz with Metal Mike. Of course, I'm Metal Mike. Tonight we have Mr. Weaverface, Brendon Weaver.
How's it
Welcome
going,
to the
Mike?
show, Brendan.
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good. Well, let us start off with first thing we'll start off with. Let us introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about you, and we'll go from there this evening.
Yeah, I'm Brendon, aka Mr. Weaverface. I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania area, and I've been doing the Mr. Weaverface thing probably for about 3 or 4 years right now. So that's where we're at.
All right. That's not a long time.
No,
So, but you have released a lot of about a half dozen singles since then. And an
yeah,
EP, two
I think,
EPs.
yeah, a couple EPs. I think we're up. I think we're at about 16 release songs officially.
That's actually pretty good anymore for 3-4 years of music.
Yeah,
But
I'm
the
trying to
way
write. Yeah, I'm trying to write a lot right now. I got about 5 or 6 songs in the pipeline that I've been working on, and I'm just trying. I'm like in a writing phase right now, just trying to like do whatever I can to like get some stuff out. It's just kind of hard to like find the time to do that, if you know what I mean, with like
yeah,
working and kids and family stuff. So
right. So if you had to an outsider describe your music in a look that way people understand where you're coming from.
yeah, style wise, definitely influenced by like a lot of '90s alternative rock, grunge, post grunge, that era, early 2000 stuff. So like I'm heavily influenced by like Smashing Pumpkins, Stone Temple Pilots, uh, Our Lady Peace, that kind of vibe. So that's kind of like where I'm coming from.
I ain't heard the name Our Lady Peace in a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got I got to see
that
them a couple years ago. They came by. There's a casino near where I live, so they were opening up for Bush and Daughtry, and I got to see them for the first time. I've been fans of them for many years, but they don't, they're from Canada, so they don't come to the U.S. too
right.
often.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen Bush and Daughtry a couple times, but
yep, yep,
I've just I've seen Bush I think twice and Daughtry like twice. So
yep,
they're both decent shows for what they're. I mean, to keep going 30 years on now for
yeah,
both for Bush and 20 years almost for Daughtry, which is
yep.
blows my mind when I think about those time frames. It's like you just described. I mean that '90s scene.
That's '90s, man.
Yeah, I was an '80s kid, so I was into
Okay,
hair metal. I was into all that. So then when grunge came along and Nirvana took over, I was like, I grit my teeth. But then as I got older and started listening to more of Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Mother Love Bone, that '90s that wasn't to me that wasn't grunge. That was a continuation of hard rock.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So and then like I said, and then like you said, like I said, Bush had a little bit of an not industrial, but they had an electronic sound when they first started.
Yeah, yeah. I listened to some industrial, like Stabbing Westward. I was into Machines of Loving Grace. I listened to them. I wasn't big into Nine Inch Nails. My one friend like was big into them, so like I listened to that sometimes. But I was mostly into like, I don't know. I was still finding my way in the '80s and '90s, like what kind of music I like. And then like when I listened to Stone Temple Pilots Core, like that, when I got that album, man, that was like what I connected with.
Yeah, like I said, I listened to your music over the last year since when I first heard you and met you. That's what I've noticed that influence, and I noticed the Foo Fighter influence.
Yeah.
So, that's what grabbed my attention when I first heard you, and then met you about just shy of a year ago at Victus, and then hearing you live, and it's like, yep, there's that sound. Talking about the electronic music for a minute. Your drummer does electronic music, EDM.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So
he goes by the name Binary Trip. His name's Tim. I've known him. We were actually in a band together a while ago called Mercy Nation. It was a secular band, but I think he put the songs on Spotify. So if you're interested in like
yeah,
hearing old Mr. Weaverface in another band, then you can check that out.
Oh, cool. I'll have to go back and revisit the past.
Yeah.
So, if you you write music, are you looking? I know. I mean, I've heard some songs that are worship.
Yeah.
Then I hear some songs that are talking about life.
Yeah.
So, is that just on where you're feeling for that moment, or
Yeah,
is it something you
feel
search
like more.
for?
Yeah, I feel like more like writing from personal experience, but like what God did for me through that. So like, and just trying to get the truth out there to people through the music, um, through my experience. I recently did go to a Phil Wickham concert, and like the worship there was really amazing. So I have been like trying to like write, like just experiencing that. I've been inspired to like try to do a little more worship stuff. Um, a lot of personal issues going on the past 6 months, just a lot of crazy teenage stuff. I have 2 teenage daughters. So
No.
just kind of a lot of life stuff going on. So haven't really had a lot of time to write. I've been just too distraught to write. But yeah, just trying to like, connect, with God, like with worship, and just trying to, go that route. So I am writing some songs that are not as heavy. I'm still trying to throw a few heavy ones in there because that's what I like. That's what I like to hear myself. But yeah, just I basically draw from experience with writing songs, and that's hopefully like it connects with people.
That's the kind of music I love, is something that's going to connect with me in a way. And then, I mean, I'm not the biggest worship fan, just
Right.
because it all became so cookie cutterish in the early
Yeah.
2000s, and so I just lost interest. Period.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I agree. Like, when we do worship songs at church, obviously that's what we're doing. But like, I do feel like a lot of times they all sound the same. So that's kind of like, something that I feel sometimes. But, uh, the more that I'm doing it, like there is variety that I am finding, like with worship music now. But,
But
um,
nowadays, yeah, there's a little more. There is a trend where to make it a little bit different, everything don't sound the same. And I
right.
mean, for the longest time, everyone's like, "Oh, it's just you two with Christian lyrics."
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
in the late '90s, that was the thing I heard. But then you got, like I said, you got to where it was every song had had 3 verses, but those verses were two lines, and you repeated them 4 times,
Yeah.
and then restarted again, and it's
Yeah.
just like, this is just boring. There is no meat and potatoes to this.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at this book of Psalms and that worship style in the writing of David, that's not the way it was written. You know, you took this this verse and cut it in a third, and you're making it a song, and I'm like, you take out the whole point of the whole other 10 verses that you need to read.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
So that kind of, I guess, turned me off, and it's been kind of hard to get back in that, except when I see it at church. And then even then, I mean, they're saying raise your hand. I'm just not that person. That's not me. And I
Yeah.
respect everybody that does that, but to me, it's got, like I said, it's still at church, like you just said, it's in a moment that should be worshipful, but it feels forced, and that
Yeah.
doesn't help either for me.
Yeah. And I think it just depends what you're comfortable with. And God sees the heart for sure. Yeah. So wherever your heart's at, that's what's important.
Right, and it's hard to get that across to people I mean, they're trying to, and I get it, and I respect it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not me. But if I hear a song like when you're writing, like what you're writing, that's from the heart in a worship sense, and you're letting your heart and your mind speak, and you have that heartfelt connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's worship to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a whole different. It's like I said, it's totally different to me when you write a song and you're letting your heart out and you can relate. That's the type of worship that I don't think you can, that you won't find if you're going to a church and hearing those three verses over and over and over. But
Yep.
that's my opinion. Sorry.
No, and I've been trying to write, there's the two thought processes, I think. Like you can write like overly Christian songs with Christianese words and, all of that. Or you can like write I'm not saying like it's a secular song with Christian themes in it, but you can like write more that way to just try to get people to listen to the truth in the lyrics, to get them to come to Jesus, to lead them to Jesus. So like the first few songs I wrote that I released were like, straight up Jesus, um, telling the truth. The more later songs definitely drew a lot from personal experience and like getting those themes in there, and drawing from the word, definitely using scripture to like reinforce the experience that I had with Jesus, and like just trying to get people to start thinking about Jesus is what
Yeah.
that's the whole goal of my songs, really.
Right, and I've seen that with the last EP. That's
Yep.
You had some songs that were a little hard, but they weren't overtly hard. But when you deep into the lyrics, especially lungs, that you're breathing from the lungs and letting out, and that was a different way. Like I said, it goes back to what I was just saying. It was a different way of worshiping, but in an understanding way that it can relate to your daily experience.
Mhm.
So I'm probably rambling. Sorry.
You're good. We're just talking, man.
Yeah, well, like I said. So, anyways,
Yep.
let's talk about. You just released an album a few weeks ago. I can't remember.
I think it was within the last month.
Yeah, that's what I was
Ish.
thinking. Like I said, I'm thinking
Yeah.
early March, late March, somewhere in there. That's what I'm thinking. So,
Yeah, it was Armor on Redo.
do
Yep.
where did these songs come from? I know you saying you're working on some more new stuff, but this is your
Yeah.
latest. Where did these songs come from?
Yeah, so I mean, just from writing, like just from what's going on in the world right now, like identity theft came out a little while ago, and that's one of the songs I wrote just because there's so much about who am I, like who should you call me, like people like trying to figure out who they are, um trying to get other people to validate who they are, but my thought was like you really don't know who you are until you're like in Christ. So that was the whole point of that song, just trying to like get the truth out there. So really it can draw from experience, it can draw from just how I'm feeling, what God puts on my mind. So yeah, it come from a variety of ways. Like Throne came out, and that was just like something like I felt like I wanted to read, like I wrote down like every Bible verse like related to God's throne, and I was like I could do a song with this. So that's what I did. I just like made a song based on all of that. So yeah, just kind of like what kind of challenge, like for me writing songs, like I don't know if I've said this before in an interview, but sometimes writing songs to me feels like a math problem you're trying to solve, like to try to come up with like the correct ending, the correct answer. So that's what's cool about writing music. Like you can go in so many infinite different ways with the song, like musically and lyrically, and then you just have to like lock it in at the very end just to come up with something hopefully that's spectacular and that resonates with people who like listen to it.
Right.
Yep.
There's. I mean, you going through the album. I mean, like again, going back like the EP, the EP before.
Mhm.
There's a range. I mean, and I think everybody's doing that now. That way, they have different avenues to approach people because not everybody's a metalhead. Not everybody, like I said, like me, like is not a worship fan. But at this point in music, you have to be able to expand your horizons. You can't just stick to a formula
Mhm.
that everybody expects, especially in the Christian scene, I think, because it is such a harder, to me, it's always been, and it still is, one of the harder avenues to negate, because people are finicky when it comes to Christianity. Then they don't want to be preached at on top of everything. They want, like we said, they want something that's life,
Yeah.
especially especially when people, and I've noticed this the last 35 years, last 40, almost 40 years that I've been in and out of the business or listening to the music. People want realness, and
Yeah.
they want you to be, truthful. They want you to be honest, and then if you're not, you turn them off.
Yep. I wish
And
there was I wish there was not a category called Christian music. I wish it was just music. Like, people can sing about sex and drugs and partying, but you can also sing about Jesus and other things. Like, I d- like, I don't know. Like, I wish it wasn't like that.
100%, 100%, and that's why I mix the two, because why not? Why be pigeonholed and
Right.
be be put in a corner like you're the bad news of the? Even when record stores were together, you'd be in the far back corner. You'd be in a section that's 4x4,
Right.
and you'd be lucky.
Yeah.
Now, you can't even. Unless you have the publicist, you can't say a record label per se,
Right.
but some kind of somebody management group, and you're paying them an arm and a leg, you might make radio for a month if you're lucky.
Hmm.
You're the listening power of music anymore. I mean, unless you're a big, huge rock star, you're not going to get footing.
It's crazy, like, how many songs are released per day
Yeah,
on, like, streaming platforms. So, uh, yeah, it's hard to find music. I mean, the algorithms, I guess, help, and some of them are helpful, but yeah, it's just there's so much music out there, and I try to put out good stuff, like, definitely can be played on the radio, and praise the Lord, I have had songs played on radio, so I really appreciate the radio stations that play my music, including yours.
uh,
But,
but
yeah, I mean, there's just so much out there, and there's garbage out there, there's great stuff, good stuff, all different levels of stuff, different genres and stuff.
yeah.
So, yeah, just to, like, find fans that like my music, like, that is the struggle for the independent artist, like, just trying to, find the fans. Like, I feel like I make good music, but, are people who like my music listening to it yet? That's the struggle.
Well, we were talking about that before we came on the air. That you said you had, say, 13,000 people just on Spotify. But like I said, how many listens do you actually get out of that a month?
Right.
Is probably not even half that, maybe.
Mhm.
And that's sad. It is, to me. It is. And going back to the independent artist thing, what would you say? 80%, 85% of music out there now is pretty much independent.
Yeah, I mean, you can record on your computer and release it on DistroKid in, like, a second. So, yeah, I would say a lot of it's independent.
And then like I said, you're the needle in the haystack,
Mhm.
and how do you find that? How, like you said, how do we find each other? And that's what the thing we've got, especially like go back to what, not, the scene that we're in. It's a niche,
Mhm.
unfortunately, and it's got to keep going, or the artists don't make no money, or the artists don't get seen or heard, and it's sad.
Mhm.
I always joke all the time here at my house. A lot of the stuff I listened to in the '80s, '90s can't be found on streaming. I mean,
Really?
yeah, I messaged an artist yesterday, of a band that's sounds like this. They remind a lot of people of the Counting Crows. Okay.
So they don't want to put their stuff up or what?
Well, a lot of those record labels disappeared. So
Oh,
the
I
masters,
see. Okay,
so
so
the
they
masters,
own the
or the
song.
right, or the masters were not
Um,
found. So they're using CD quality to put it up if they do. But
yeah.
but that stuff just, I mean, people are posting it on YouTube videos. Thank
Mhm.
God somebody's out there doing that. I mean, there's a page on YouTube that's just dedicated to 80s Christian music that's disappeared. Or I mean, even secular stuff. You see, I mean, prime example, record companies messing in the modern times. Record companies messing with like Taylor Swift or Five Finger Death Punch, where they have to go back and record their music because they
Yeah.
don't have the originals. Or I go buy compilation CDs all the time of
Mm.
secular music. And one of my sticklers is it's got to be the original version of the song, because a lot of these compilations are where the bands are one or two of the members of the bands are still there, and they'll have to re-record it to put it on this compilation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the the sound is the music quality is not there. You'll hear a lot of differences.
Hmm.
I mean, you'll see it's all the time. It's just because they don't own the rights. Like I said, the rights to the music, or publishing. I mean, that's why you're seeing these bigger artists sell their catalogs and making million or billion-dollar deals
Yep.
on their publishing. That way people can re-release it for the next 100 years. But they made bank today.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it all the time. Like I said, it blew my mind. I mean, I'm not a big Swiftie. For her to go back and have to re-record, I think it was 5 or 6 albums, because her record label held those hot. They wouldn't try to buy them from them, and they didn't want none of it.
That was her strategy, man, and like her fans like love her.
Oh yeah,
So they
she made bank doing it, but it's still crazy to think an artist that big don't even really own the rights to their own music.
Right.
And that just boggles my mind. And like I said, Five Finger Death Punch just did the same thing, did a greatest hits album, all re-recorded songs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it is a record label.
Yeah, the music business is shady.
Yeah. And that, to me, I mean, like I said, these labels are making bank over these artists, and then want to hold them hostage. How many times have we heard, oh, so and so's recording an album, I'm looking forward to it, and then all of a sudden that album is shelved and never to be heard. And then you hear bootlegs slowly dripping out.
Wow.
I mean, I lived through that scene where that's when going back to Napster and all that. You're like, oh man, it's this new song from so and so that's never been released anywhere. And then now you're seeing it when those bands are reissuing albums. Oh, here's 10 demos on another CD for a deluxe edition.
It's crazy that Napster is not the primo streaming service, because that really what originated all of this.
Well, I mean, it is crazy
how Spotify like kind of took over that.
Right. And I'm 100% with you there. And what's crazy to me is when Metallica went after them, what built Metallica was trading cassettes of their music. So it's like what? You don't, I mean, I get it. You need to make money. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But back in the 80s, we traded tapes.
Yeah. We burned CDs. Yep. Burned CDs, mixtapes. Yep.
Yep. Or we'd have a friend that, they'd have that CD or tape. You take it and make your own copy, and it would be in the group. Everybody everybody have one CD or tape that they pass around the group, whatever came out new.
Crazy.
I remember having, the Black album from Metallica, like 2 days after it came out, a friend of mine made me a copy of it and gave it to him.
That's cool.
But like I said, that's what they were built on. That's what was their fan base.
Yep.
But that's how. But back then, we had 500 bands we could choose from to listen to, so to speak. Now you got you got 50,000, like you said, daily releasing music that they hope to get heard. And
Yeah,
Spotify
there's
says,
something
"Oh,
about like holding something physical and playing it. Like you don't really listen to like a full album anymore. Like it's all singles.
yeah,
And there's something special about like putting the CD in, listening to it for the first time, remembering where you were listening to the album. I mean, I still make CDs for shows and stuff, but obviously people are just streaming.
yeah." I mean,
But
I'm a physical media person. I mean, I've got.
yeah,
Well, I don't even want to know how many CDs I have.
I have all these video games back here, so I'm like big into like collecting video games. So like physical, yeah, collect like I don't know. I just something about having it in your hands and be able to use it
Yep.
whenever you want. There's something about that.
Yeah, I just went out over the last 2 years or so. Talking about video games, I went out and bought the minis.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
mini
those are fun.
systems. Those were fun. They're fun to have.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
in
nice.
my office, which is where I'm talking to you from, it's actually my laundry room, but it's made into an office. I have my own TV. I can plug
Nice.
those game systems in. I have a Blu-ray player where I can watch my whatever movie or TV show I want to watch. So I've got
Yep.
my own little hole. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Somebody opened the door so I can hear everybody out in the hallway. But yeah, I mean, I've got this looking. I mean, I've got on my wall in front of me, I've got drumsticks, drum heads, set lists, posters from shows I've went to that are autographed.
Cool.
I've got behind me, I've got a bunch of my secular CDs. I've got most of all them behind me, but they're taken out of their cases and put in trays alphabetically.
Oh, I see that. Okay, now I can see that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's on that show.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I made it. Like I said, it's my Lawfice, LAU, and then FICE.
Yep.
So, and then further back, I'm also doing a wrestling podcast too. So I keep.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, so I'm a wrestling fan. I've been forever. I
Do you
work with
cover like the pro wrestling or like amateur stuff or pro wrestling? Or,
pro.
Yeah.
Yep, I got a company out of Jeffersonville, Indiana, which is across the bridge from me here in Louisville. That I interview their guys and gals, and we work together and everything. So sit front row every month. They do one show a month, and
yeah, I have a buddy of mine who is big into wrestling. He his name's John, and he does like a podcast called the Wrestling Dorks or something. But I don't think he does it much now. But he did a lot of podcasts, and he like covered like WWF or WWE stuff, and he's interviewed some wrestlers and stuff too. So
yeah, well, I don't go that high level on this, but I do. I've here in Louisville we had what's called Ohio Valley Wrestling, and that's where a lot of the guys from the past 15, 20 years trained at before they got to the WWE. So I met a lot of those through the years.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, I'm sitting here.
I have some like I have a friend who like he's his name's Andre, and he does like the announcing for like local wrestling stuff sometimes. Right. He's pretty good at it. Like he plays the part of like being super serious, like when he's interviewing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've been pretty impressed with what he does with that.
Yeah. If you go to my page right now, my personal page right now, there's a picture that was taken Sunday. They do their shows the fourth Sunday of each month.
Uh-huh.
And they had a couple guys come in that's working for Juggalo Championship Wrestling, which is for ICW, for ICP.
Okay.
The owner of the company that I work with, he wrestles for him too. But anyways, they were zombies. That was their gimmick. They were zombies. Oh. Two of the guys were zombies, and one of them was the ringleader. And I got my picture taken with them for my page. And I mean, so there is some silliness.
So,
there is.
How do they win their matches? Do they eat the opponent's brains?
So that was the running joke. I mean, somebody started, because this is their first time here at this company. There was somebody, a small chant started, eat their brains.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But they had contacts in for their eyes where they could still see. They
Yeah.
had their mouth was darkened out. They had black makeup on. They had makeup on. All the gimmick, the whole thing,
Wow.
and had it down to a science. It was awesome looking.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
there is some silliness there, but there's still some stuff that you're like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
I'm impressed with wrestlers who do that, man. It's just like,
well, it's acting,
yeah.
and yeah, and it's just like it's just like you being a musician. Everybody's got to learn something,
Yep.
and then once you
Performance.
learn it, you've got to be able to entertain.
Yeah.
And that's part of performing. You got to get up there. You're just in there playing. Sometimes people get bored, so you got to make a joke between songs just to keep attention. It's like make sure somebody's paying attention to the actual music or what your music you're singing is saying. Some people some people like just music. Don't get me wrong. Or they go to a show and that's what they go for. Just sit back and listen to the music.
Yeah.
But how many people actually listen to the lyrics? That's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm working on my performance, like singing and playing guitar. It's hard to step away from. It's hard to like move around on stage. So the drummer definitely picks up my slack. He's pretty active, and the bass player JP, he moves around a lot. He reminds me of the bass player from Stone Temple Pilots. Like he definitely can get a groove going. And then the lead guitar player Paul, he's pretty good too.
And Paul just joined the band, correct?
Yeah, Paul's yeah, he was. I knew Tim for a long time, and so we can rock a 3-piece, but having that second guitar player definitely helps. So yeah, Paul's the newest addition.
And then, like I said, you had a rotating help with some bass.
So JP couldn't make it down for Ichthu, so Calvin, he plays on the worship team at my church. So he was gracious or willing to be able to like go make the trek to Kentucky from Pennsylvania, which is not a short drive, stay overnight and drive all the way back. So I really appreciated his help. So Calvin is the fill-in bass player right now. I'll take whoever I can get, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah, well, at least you got friends that help. That always helps. Yep. Now, when you record, though, who's in the band recording? You and Tim, and who else?
Yeah, so the latest songs that's on the Armor On Redo EP, all those songs, JP did all the bass for that. I did all the guitar and vocals, and then Tim did all the drums. So it was just us three for that.
So who produced?
So the producer is Jonathan Sambrick from Thornwall Studios. He did that EP. He did the previous songs, like From These Lungs Onward. So he works out of Lidditz, Pennsylvania, at Rock Lidditz. That's a big place where like big name acts, like they create their sounds, they create their stages for like tours and stuff.
Okay.
Like there's a huge hotel there now. It's like so built up now. So like a lot of production and stuff's going on there. But I actually heard of him through Behold the Beloved, which is like a big up and coming Christian rock band. Yeah. And they gave me the connection. So yeah, when we were talking about earlier about like, how do people find like Christian artists like myself? Like what I wanted to say earlier is that it's definitely through connections. So like, godly people helping other godly people out, like that definitely helps, everyone out. So I appreciate all the help that I've been given, and hopefully I can help other people out when that time comes too.
Right. Yep. And I completely 100% agree with that. I mean, I'm amazed. Radio Oz has been around in my mind since 1987. Okay, when I got saved, I started making mixtapes for friends to share. Worked with some radio programs through the 90s, a couple different ones there. Took a life break for 15 years. I was working there in the 90s. I was working concerts. I was working helping radio. So I got into the scene in that time period. And like I said, took a life break. Unfortunately, I got divorced, got remarried, and then took that 15-year break from 2002 to 2017 when Radio Oz began online with Facebook page, and then it's like, man, I guess I want to do this. I want to share music with people because radio is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I created radio on Spotify where I was putting playlists together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that grew and it grew. I mean, it slowly grew, but it's got on the Facebook page, it's got fans following it from all sorts of bands across. I mean, I've got 5,000 fans across the globe. It's all organic, and
That's
I'm
cool.
blessed each time I do something. I just got 800 followers on Instagram. I'm like, where did that 800 people come from?
Nice.
And where did the 1,200, the 1,300 and something I got on TikTok come from? It's like, how did I do this from just in my mind, like I said, making mixtapes in 1988, 89, 87, whatever, just to 4 or 5 friends to now be able to share my process, so to speak, with 5,000. My mind's blown every time I
Word of
think
mouth, man. It takes time, and God willing helps out, and
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and then like I said, like I told you earlier, I got people messaging me, can you help me? Or can interview me? I mean, it's like, I'm a nobody and you're asking to be part of this. We had talked about this back in September of last year, just like I said, off the cuff, and explaining what I do. And it's like, okay, I've befriended Brendon, I've befriended Tim, because Tim will send me stuff to his stuff all the time. And it's like, man, it's like, it's like, man, I'm 53 years old and I've got this.
Yeah.
I never dreamed it this big. I dreamed, like I said, I started out giving tapes to five or so friends, and now it's 5,000. It's like the fish story,
It'll only get bigger, man. It'll only get bigger.
Right. And so I'm blessed with that. And I'm blessed with knowing people like yourself that and willingness to help me, and I'm willingness to help them.
Yep.
And I hope, even if I get you 10 streams, I felt like I've done my job.
Thank you.
And I hope you feel the same way, that at least somebody's out here trying to get my music out here, Yep. And you said that earlier, that you were thankful for that. And I appreciate that. And it's like I said, it's just, I don't know how to describe how I feel sometimes with this, because it's to me, it's like, what did I get myself into? Like where did God lead me?
Well, you enjoy it, and so that's why, like, God, I think you can spread the good news through things that you enjoy. So, like, I enjoy writing, making music, performing music. Yeah, like I enjoy talking to patients about God sometimes, depending if I feel moved to do that.
Oh yeah, I feel that with my work. It's like, I'll tell what's going on in my life, because I've told you before, I work in storage, and so I don't know what somebody's walking in from.
Right.
Could have been a fire, a tornado, it could have been a divorce, yada yada, and the same thing, on and on and on.
That's a good point, because like you get all walks of life needing a storage unit for a reason.
Yeah, and so it's a chance to witness. It's a time to share, even in a business setting, because it'll break the ice a little bit. Sometimes say, hey, I've been through this too, or something similar. So it creates a bond.
Mm-hmm.
So and going back to now we've talked about my job. We didn't mean to, but
yeah.
So your day job is an optometrist, correct?
That's right. I'm an eye doctor. Checking people's eyes out every day of the week.
What's that?
Checking people's eyes out every day of the week.
I see you, huh? But yeah,
who's your eye doctor? I see you're wearing glasses.
Yep, I've been wearing since I was 4 years old up to now. They've got trifocals in them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that's one of the big. Believe it or not, that's one of the things. My stepdaughter used to work for a company here in town, and even today, it's where we get our glasses from, and they can't keep optometrists here in Louisville for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. The company, I don't know if it's I think it's a national company, America's Best.
So yeah, I can tell you, like, everything is like private equity now. So you have, private practices, you have commercial practices, and these private equity firms are like trying to buy up these like successful private practices and try to commercialize them and just try to milk as much money as they can out of this business venture, which is not good for the patients usually and not good
Yeah.
for the staff that works there. And the doctor usually has to sign on to stay for a few years, and it usually ends up being like, they're a cog in the wheel now and they regret their decision and they're just waiting until their contract expires until they can get out.
Yeah.
So it's one of the exit strategies, like, as you're trying to like get something out of your practice that you built. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation, and I'm sure there's people that sell their practices that are very happy with their decision, but I've heard of a lot of stories about optometrists selling, and then it's not worth it. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you the last time I actually seen a private practice optometrist.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
there's a bunch up my way, but yeah, a lot of commercial places. Um, Vertically integrated with like vision plans. It's a monopoly. It kind of sucks for the private practice, but I'm very thankful. Like I'm very successful, I believe. Like I have two offices now. That I think God gave me the second office a couple years ago, 3 years ago now, um, to help me out financially, and I've been doing well. So I'm very blessed for that. So I'm very
well, it's
thankful.
good, good. Yeah.
Yep.
But like I said, yeah, that's one of the things I was like, what? Okay.
Yep.
I was like, 'cause I mean, you're talking to people and you're like, oh, so you're a doctor, and you're like, and you look at you look at yourself. Nothing against you personally. It's just you look at you and meeting you, and you're so personal, and because you today's times you go to a doctor's office and you're just a patient. You're a number, just like anywhere anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's because of, everything's hospital based now and everything's like, there is no like private practice primary care anymore. It's all part of like a hospital system.
Yeah,
So,
for
but I
sure.
mean, there is a practice near me that even though they are with the hospital, like it's very personable. I'm more of like in the rural area of Pennsylvania, so
Dutch
in
country,
Louisville,
or
that's more like urban, I guess, right?
yeah,
I mean, you probably have some suburban and like rural stuff too out there.
yeah.
Um,
We're in Louisville. I mean, we're a large city, but we've got a lot of urban. We got a little mix of everything. We're a pretty good size area. We're not Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, but or
but
Cincinnati even.
a lot of these like a lot of the commercial like Lens Crafters, America's Best. Um, I heard like America's Best is actually doing like off-site doctors like doing an exam through the internet somehow. Like
Okay.
that's not like if you just want a pair of glasses, that may work, but if you want your eyes checked out and make sure they're healthy and make sure you get a good eye exam, I would definitely go to a place where there's an eye doctor in person checking your
Yeah,
eyes out
I
in
wouldn't.
person.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's
That's
like
crazy.
telehealth. Period. It's like what? I
Yeah.
mean, my
Like
wife works
maybe if
in
you
a
need a drug
hospital
for a
also.
sinus infection and something like that, that's good for that. But like to check someone's eyes over the internet, I don't like what do you
No,
just do? Like stare into the camera like
I
this?
can't see that working at all. It's like
That's crazy.
just put on
Yeah.
some glasses this year, you'll be good.
Right.
Go to the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, get you this pair of
Just
readers.
some readers or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how long you been doing that?
I've been doing optometry. I graduated optometry school from the New England College of Optometry in 2003. And then I moved to Pennsylvania, to Berks County, and I've been practicing here since 2004. So
Man,
I worked for an ophthalmology group for 6 years. Worked at a Lens Crafters for 6 months while I was transitioning to open up my own practice. So I opened up my practice cold in 2011, like January 2011, I think, and then built that up. And then I bought an office 3 years ago. So that's how I ended up with two locations right now.
so private practice basically for 15 years, basically.
Right? Yeah, private practice for 15 years now. Yep.
That's a good little while, really. I
Yep.
mean, especially
So
to
I'm
survive through
thinking
different
about
economies.
retirement soon, but I'm not that old yet, so we'll see what happens.
Well,
I'm
you
ho-
know, you never know.
but I'm hoping like the Mr. Weaver face thing takes off so that I could do that more full time. So I'm hoping for a transition to that at some point. But right now, optometry pays the bills. It lets me pay for Mr. Weaver face. So that's kind of the relationship we're going on right now.
right. And then you got, like you said earlier, you got some daughters that you have to take care of. And
Yep. There's the one's going to college soon, not too soon in a year. So that's happening. And then I have a younger daughter, about 3 years behind. So yeah, we got some college coming up.
we got 5 here, but they're all adults, 25 to 40. So,
Okay.
but we know how that goes with dramas between kids. So they're still dealing with drama with kids to this day,
Yep.
even if they're who they are.
Always
So,
drama for your mama, man.
oh, you ain't telling me nothing there. Whew. We don't know what we're gonna hear or see on a daily basis from any of them.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Try not to worry is what God
yeah,
would say.
I try not to, but it doesn't work,
Yep.
unfortunately. That's why I had planned, if this was the interviews for Radio Oz was planned to start in 2023, and because I went to Kentucky Kingdom Come Festival and did what I did with you down at Ichthus, just networked. And I
Yeah.
met a lot of great bands, connected, had everything planned to start once I got back, and just life hit me with a ton of bricks. We've got a son. I've got a son that's got to have a heart transplant. His mom
Mm.
went through 3 hip replacements in a year, an appendectomy, and he's still got to have the transplant. So I had to take a year, almost almost a year and a half off the plan.
Yeah.
And then I got started back up in last January, the 25. Had everything rolling for a while, and then life hit again for about 6 months, and then hit back up in January, and been going full steam since. And like I said earlier, I'm amazed at how many people that I met even at Kingdom Come Festival 3 years ago. I
Mhm.
mean, and I haven't seen these people in those 3 years, but they've all still got my back, and I'm thankful
Yeah, I
for that
mean,
every day. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean, once you make a connection, I mean, you know,
yeah, and when I explain,
you know the person now. It's kind of like talk to them, meet up with them, hang out with them. You know, help each other out.
right, and I think that's what this community needs is people connect, like
Yep.
you said a minute ago. Connections get you places. You know,
Yep.
I was we were talking earlier, and you were asking about we were talking about here in Louisville. Have you ever looked into Rock House up in Ohio?
Yeah, I did. I was trying to hook up with them for a show on our way to Ichthus to split up the trip, but we couldn't make it work with
Oh,
with the work schedules of bandmates. So,
right.
um,
I just thought about that as we was talking earlier. It's like
yeah, so I did reach out to them,
because
and
they're always going together pretty decent shows.
yeah,
And
I would be down with doing something. I will do something acoustic or full rock there. Um, yeah, once we're ready to like start like doing more shows, and I'm always looking for shows. So if anyone watching this wants Mr. Weaverface at their venue or church event or anything, please reach out to Brendon at MrWeaverface.com.
cool.
Or
I
just
would
go to
love to see you
Mr.
back
Weaverface.
out this way.
Just go to
So,
MrWeaverface.com. You can find all the socials and all my contact info.
excellent, excellent. I mean, it's and like I said, I mean, there is. I mean, when you go look for his music, there is a little bit of worship, a little bit of not like he said, '90s ish modern rock with it, and then like I said, but there is a spiritual undertone. Even the songs that don't seem like that are not worship, you're still going to get fed.
Yep.
That's the key to his music. His writing. There's some songs like I said on the last EP that I've read out that have. I can't tell you names because I'm sitting there just listening, and it reaches me, and like I said, that's what I want from any music that I listen to. I want something that's gonna enjoy listening to, but also edify me. You know, I
Yeah.
do listen to some other stuff that's not edifying, but you know, like the music. But no, I mean, I've been listening to all kinds of music through the years. So you go
Right.
behind me, you see everything from the 1920s all the way to the 2020s. So
Well, you and like just listening to secular stuff, like a lot of bands like sing about their struggles too.
yep.
Like
I mean,
Chris Cornell, like how many songs did he
oh
write
man,
about his struggles? And you know, within the lyrics, you can tell like he's searching for Jesus.
yeah.
Like he's looking for something to fill the void that everyone is looking to fill. And you know, that void is only filled with Jesus like 100%. So like, and same with like Scott Weiland from STP, like, you know, all this, so many songs like writing about his struggles with drugs and stuff.
But it's searching. It's soul searching,
Yeah,
trying to find yourself. I mean, that's what music should be. You know,
yeah,
I mean, the music I enjoy, anyways. I mean, same thing goes with if I listen to a preacher. I want to hear. I want you to step on my toes. You know, type thing. I want to know where I stand, basically, like that with that. But yeah, I mean, you listen to those guys, and Chris Cornell helped write some songs on an Alice Cooper album in the mid
oh, okay.
'90s,
Yeah, I didn't
and
know that.
yeah, and it's called "The Last Testament of Alice." And he
Huh.
wrote, well, and he sung some backing vocals on it, and you can pick him out if you listen to it. But you listen to the lyrics there, and you know, that's a place you wouldn't expect him to be searching. But you
Yeah,
know, you can see it in his lyrics. I mean, Alice is a believer, and he every album he's released since that album has had some form of faith based song, at least one faith based song.
yeah,
So that's amazing too. You know, you see these guys, and I mean, we've all went through trials, tribulations, and find ways of searching, even when we think we're tight in our faith. The next thing we know, we're like, why do I believe this? Or why am I going through this? And I
like
mean, that's what's got me through my life the last 2.5 years is faith. You know,
yeah,
and because people ask me all the time when I tell them what's going on in life, they're like, "How do you do it?" I said,
yeah,
"Faith and prayer."
yeah,
You know, and and then their eyes light up. It's like, and then I explain. So it's like I said earlier, it's like my way of talking to someone and witnessing to someone
yeah,
that had no clue.
yeah,
You know, and they just like, and that's what David Patacone was on a few months ago, and that's why I had him on because that man was one of the biggest testaments of faith that I've ever seen in my life before he passed.
cool.
He went
Nice.
to go through what he went through for 2 years and keeping positive with cancer, knowing that the day would come that we wouldn't see him. You know,
Yeah,
he wouldn't be here. And it just touched me so much that
yeah.
and
I
it
never
helped
had a
me.
chance to meet him. I never met him.
You never got to meet him? Great soul, great soul. Love me some Dave. I mean, we only met one time in person, but when I was going through when we've been going through some of our struggles, and I would put up, "Hey, I need some prayer." Dave would reach out, "I got you, man." Or he
Cool.
messaged me out of the blue. It's like, "How's everybody doing?" You know, and that meant so much to me. And it
Yeah,
meant, I mean, I've seen him do it for other people too, not just me. He did it for a lot of people. And when he passed a few months ago, or well, not even a few months ago, it's about a month ago. People, the outpouring that people showed his family in the community, in the Christian, in our community was mind blowing. It was amazing. And like I said,
yeah,
he was an amazing person. You know, I'm sorry you didn't get to meet him. I think you would have liked him a lot.
yeah.
So where's Mr. Is there anything coming up with Mr. Weaverface?
Yeah. Me and Tim are doing just like a acoustic show, playing covers, some originals at a place called Saucony Creek in Kutztown, Pennsylvania next Saturday. I think that's May 8th. We always do the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. We play at a place called Hamburg, Pennsylvania at the Taste of Hamburger Festival. They have like all these vendors with all these custom hamburgers. There's a hamburger contest who makes the best hamburgers. There's multiple stages with music, a bunch of vendors there. So if you're in the area, like come to the Taste of Hamburger Festival. It's the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. We've been doing that for like the past 4 or 5 years. We were fortunate to get into that, and they keep asking us back, so that's a good opportunity for us. And I think we have another show somewhere in there. Yeah, we're playing North Country Music Festival, and I forget the date of that, but I think that's in early July. So just check out, if you go to MrWeaverface.com, we have a place that says shows. Just click there, and I'll be updating all the shows that we got coming up. And other than that, like I've been working on new music, so hopefully I'm hoping to like write a bunch. Like my dream is like I would love to like make a double CD album. So I'm hoping to like get like 20 songs. And I know that's like a lot to ask, but like I feel like motivated to like write a bunch of music and hopefully like do something where I can just spit out 20 songs and hopefully people get to enjoy them. So
They're going to be they're going to be a little bit of every style, or is it just going to? Are you looking at just like you've been doing?
Rock, but on any album there's like slow songs in there, so I'm hoping to mostly do like rock and songs like that's on the Armor On redo EP. But yeah, there's going to be some slower songs on there, some worship songs, but mostly rock.
That's what I was going to ask, if you do one CD worship side and then the hard side.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, do you like mix it all together? Like, I don't know. Like, do you like? I don't know. I guess I just need to figure out like what are the songs that I end up with, and like what do they sound like together?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like a theme or a running theme or something like that. Like not a what's the word I'm looking for? A story or anything like that, or just the feeling of the mood. It's like you could look at that. Because I mean that's when you talk about listening to an album.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Because coming from the '70s and listening, that's what we did. '70s and '80s. Yeah, we listened to the whole album. We didn't listen to singles.
Yeah, I'm trying to emulate that. So like I would like to make a physical CD to sell at shows and online that has that feeling, like so that you do listen to the CD and like be able to like experience like that thing I was talking about earlier, like when you first listened to a CD. Like I remember like listening to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, the 2 CD from Smashing Pumpkins, and being like, man, this is fantastic. like so many songs in one album. That's great. Let's do it again. And I keep listening to it over and over again. So
a lot of people want them to go back to that. So I've heard that complaint from a few people seeing online. It's like
let's style music. Yeah, I mean Billy Corgan is out there right now. Like he's definitely like, a lot of spirituality, a lot of singing about other gods and stuff.
I think he's searching. He's been searching for a long time.
Yeah. So I think he's like, I don't know, a little too into the occultist stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about wrestling earlier. He's involved with wrestling too now.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. What's the league that what's his league?
The NWA. It's the National Wrestling Alliance. So
okay,
he's the owner of it and everything, which is crazy to think of. But those shows are not bad. I mean, I know some guys that have been on there. So, you got anything else you want to talk about? We can talk about for a minute before we get off here.
No, just I think we talked about a lot. Just check me out on MrWeaverface.com. If you go into the socials, it's at Mr. Weaverface, MR Weaverface. Just support me online. Check out my merch store. Check out my shows. Check out my music. Streaming on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Napster.
Napster. We did talk about that earlier. We got a good laugh out of that.
But if you haven't heard me yet, check out my music. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, catch him also on some of my playlists from Radio Oz on Spotify. I've got one I'm working on, so we'll have some stuff from Armor on Redo coming soon on those when I get to that. Just been busy with life lately, so I haven't had one posted recently, but I do have.
Yep.
I try to get about 40 to 50 songs on that, so people have a couple hours worth of music to listen to and check out new music with. So I've got a couple artists that I've had on here that I promised I'd have on here. I just haven't got the playlist out. So be looking forward to that soon. Of course, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and like I just said, Spotify. Radio Odds with Metal Mike on all those. So appreciate everybody's support. Thanks, Brendon, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully seeing you back out this way sometime soon. I know it's a long distance, but love to get you out and see you. Hopefully getting at least a small tour going on with the fellas.
Yeah, I'm willing to travel. It's just like getting the guys off from work is the.
Do you do any real quick? Do you do shows just by yourself, or do you just?
I would do shows like I would do acoustic shows by myself, and I think I could wrangle the drummer to come along with a small kit, just do like a small acoustic thing. Yeah, so I'm willing to do.
Tim's pretty flexible, what I understand. So
yeah, I'm willing to do acoustic stuff. I like doing acoustic shows because it gives you a different feel for the song. Like a lot of the times I write on acoustic guitar or electric guitar sometimes, but yeah, I mean it's cool to do a song acoustically once in a while, just get a different feel of it.
Right. But like I said, I wanted to make sure that everybody knew there is options, not just full band. That we can drag you out of Pennsylvania somewhere, at least not too far in the Midwest. What's that?
I said if you want me out to a show, I'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll get you figured out. But like I said, I'll pass on some information to you about some people here in the Louisville area that I know. We'll see what we can come up with this way. But like I said, that is a drive. Like you said with Icarus, it was a drive to get there. So
I'm a big bourbon fan though, so it would be totally worth it.
Okay, well. Actually, the warehouse I work in for self-storage is in old bourbon warehouse. It was built right after Prohibition.
That's cool.
So, yep, and there's a couple distilleries around it, which is pretty cool. So,
yeah.
But
I've been to Louisville once. I did the Louisville Slugger tour, which was pretty cool. I hit some balls in there, and we did an Evan Williams tour, which isn't like the greatest bourbon, but it was just one of the tours we were able to do while we were down there.
Funny story. When I grew up in Jeffersonville, Indiana, across the bridge for the Ohio River from Louisville.
Okay.
Louisville Slugger was a mile from my home where I grew up. Wasn't in Louisville at the time, and everybody would laugh. I'm like, "Where you live?" And I tell them, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a mile from Louisville Slugger." Ain't that in Louisville? No.
That's great.
But
I never knew that. I learned something tonight, Metal Mike.
But yeah, it's originally from Louisville, but it moved over there. Was in a old piano factory for probably 20 years, 25 years, something like that.
Wow.
Before they went over there where the big bat's at and all that.
Yeah.
But and then talking about your bourbon, your Evan Williams, but there is a trail in Kentucky called the Bourbon Trail where you go to each distillery and have a shot to try it.
Sign me up for that. I'm down with that.
So you have a reason to come back. And then, like I said, we have Kentucky Derby this weekend, which is the horse race.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's a mile from where I work. So,
yep.
But yeah, the warehouse I work in, it's a storage facility, and it's an old bourbon warehouse, like I said, built after Prohibition. And it's 90 years old, and people talk. And it's actually got its own Wikipedia. The group has its own Wikipedia page. So.
Yeah, one time I was in Louisville, it was because I was there for a wedding of one of my wife's cousin was getting married, and they actually had the reception at Lansdowne. Oh no, where's the Kentucky Derby at?
Churchill Downs.
Yeah, Churchill Downs. Sorry, I was saying Lansdowne. Churchill Downs, and they had races going on during the wedding reception, and you could actually place. They had like videos where you could place bets during the wedding reception. It was so cool.
Oh man,
yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
that was my experience in Louisville.
So the area I work in is called Shively, a part of Louisville. It was built on tobacco, alcohol, horse racing.
Yep.
And every other vice you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy to think. But yeah, we've had it's got stories of mobsters and all that involved and all kinds of crazy
Wow.
ones.
Yeah.
So, all righty,
Cool.
young man. Well, I appreciate you.
Appreciate
So,
you too, man.
no problem. Well, have a great evening. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Like I said,
supporting.
look for Brendon. I said he said Mr. Weaverface everywhere you turn. So,
Mhm.
well, Brendon, we'll catch up soon. Like I said, hopefully we'll see you back out this way a little sooner than soon. But like I said, we'll talk more on some more information when I get off here. So,
All right.
everyone
Sounds
have a
good, man.
great evening. We'll be back hopefully maybe next week. I've got a couple people and I've got some big surprises coming this summer. I'm really looking forward to, but I won't want to announce those yet because I don't want to spoil them. So, everybody have a great evening. We'll see you soon.